Yo, I'll let the guys wander in before I start talking too much. So, you guys can hear me okay? Hi Pat, hi John. Okay. Let's see. Guess I'll go back a little here, see what I can find. Give it another 30 seconds, see if people just hop in before I start talking um, too too much into it. Oh yeah, this is the one. Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to show if you guys picking up the noise on the printer. I'm printing out some spinach for my goddaughter. Um, it's kind of hard to see. I want to see if I can move the camera so you can actually see a little bit better. Uh, yeah, that yellow is really yellow, so it's gonna be hard to see. But once it finishes, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Um, but basically, it's what I call a mango spinner. It uses smaller nuts and it looks like the inside of a mango, like the pit of the mango. So it's really designed for kids with smaller hands. So it I'm putting that in. I think this is this is Filament.ca yellow PTG. This yellow comes out really nice. Let's see if I can. Yeah, it comes out really nice. I really like it. I'll probably end up probably pick up another roll or two before they run out again. Um, I think they were saying that they got some feedback on some stringing issues with the PTG, so they try to change up the material a little bit. That's why they out of stock on some of the PTG. They said end of the week they'll come back with more stock. I think I was asking for translucent blue and gray. The gray, they're saying they have a lot of problems with the gray. So what they suggested was that we switch to silver. They said the silver is close to the gray. So I'm not sure if that's a good substitute for whatever you need to do. Um, I did ask for light gray and dark gray because I do a lot of the NES pie cases, and those two sort of matches up with the with the two tone on the NES cases. So they said that for now they don't want to stock those two. Like they said maybe 2 or 3 months. They wanted me to do a 24 roll run, which it's not gonna happen. I can't take 24 rolls myself. So I'll let you guys know later what kind of deal I work out with them. Couple of things before the European guys drop off. In case they haven't heard, the um, I was looking at the scheduling of these streams, and it seems kind of unfair for the Euro guys to, because I think it's like 1:30 o'clock right now for them. So I didn't really want them to stay up too late for the stream. So what I um, what I did was I said on the weekend, maybe Saturday or Sunday, depending on which day I'm free, I will do noon Eastern time, which I think works out to 5, 6, or 7 o'clock, depending where you are in Europe. So that will kind of be a little bit more fair to them, have them online for any questions and if they wanted to talk about any topics and stuff like that. And it works for the North American guys because it's the weekend and it's in the afternoon anyway. So any important stuff or discussions and stuff like that, we'll take that on Saturday or Sunday stream. I'm trying to do Tuesday and Thursday, just quick stuff that people could kind of review if they wanted to the next day. I did find a setting in YouTube that basically archives the stream to unlisted. So I changed it to archive them to public, so that when I'm done with the stream will be available right away. So when the guys wake up in Europe, they can actually pick up the stream and review if they wanted to. What other things? Oh, um, I it's just escaped my thought. Oh yeah, so there's been a few uh, mentions on different places about the MK42 clone that came out. So I will talk about that. I'm sort of handling the publicity of that board for Matt. He's the one actually manufacturing them, but he needed some help in listing them on Tindy, so I'm doing that for them. So I'll go over that. What I'm gonna put the link up on maybe on the GitHub bomb later. Basically, the group buy. If you want a group buy for the MK42 clone, you should have gotten the last email that said basically you pay the other half because the board itself is $90 plus the shipping, including shipping, and basically you will pay 45 upfront to get for the deposit and 45 on shipment. So he's got all the boards. The difference between buying it from Tindy and buying it from Group Buy was that for the Group Buy, because it's for the Slack/MM chat, he's including the thermistor, the extra wires, and he's soldering on the LED and the resistor on the board itself. So the only thing you really need to do if you're in the Group Buy is to apply the PEI to the board and you're ready to go. Um, if you bought it on Tindy, we sort of had to, because we had to pay fees on Tindy, so we kind of had to cut back a bit. So on Tindy, it's going to be board only. He's going to basically solder on the LED and the resistor, but the rest of it is the wiring and the thermistor will be in a separate kit. Um, it's going to be about $15, and it's going to be silicone wires and a thermistor. 15, $20. I will get the exact cost later, and that includes the shipping. So basically, that allows us to separate out the two major components because we had some requests from some of the guys who are building clones that they don't want us to include the wiring because they don't like we wouldn't know exactly how long their wire is going to be and so on. So at best, we're going to include the thermistor, but the wiring and stuff like that is going to be done as a kit, and we'll include enough for them to run the wires. So far, the sales on Tindy's been pretty good. I mean, I had 5 that we got left over from the group buy, and I sold those in like 2 days. So the demand's pretty good for them, and I think, like I said, I'll put the link up in the YouTube here as well, and then on the bomb for the Repo. I might sound a little different because I've been sick for about 4 days now. I've been on and off having a cold and a head cold, and I just got a little bit better, so I figured I'd just hop on and let you guys know what's going on. Um, let me just catch up on track here. So uh, the boards themselves, I think they were 90, like 89, 95 or something like that. Let me we could double we go check. Um, let me catch up on track here. Yes, Rob, I see you, and I'm gonna be calling you Judas because you built that whole enclosure, and it's like um, I was hoping that you would just build the hero cube with me, man. Like now you're gonna want to spend all that money on that. Your desk was fine. I didn't know why you had to take it apart. Seriously, Judas. I guess I have to sign in, and I hope I somebody got the yep. Here we go. 87.44. So they want 87.44, but then that's plus shipping and whatever else you like the custom charges like that. Uh, at the end of the day, it'll work out cheaper to buy from the Tindy store and getting your PPI. That was the other thing was some of the guys wanted to have the ability to put on BuildTech and other build surfaces on the Mk42, so it gives them a chance to kind of do that without paying for PI. They're gonna peel off anyway. Um, we are trying really hard to um, lower the price because I can tell you that mainly the $90 when we include the shipping, it's not really working out on the long run to include shipping because. For example, from Bangalore, which is where Matt is based, from Bangalore to I think Toronto was $32 for shipping. We're taking a loss every time we sell one like that, and then to Finland it's even worse. I think we were looking at $44 to ship to Finland. So what we're gonna do is actually have distribution points set up. One is going to be in the U.S. One is going to be in Germany, and Matt is going to handle Asia himself, Asia slash Australia. So what's going to happen is that we're going to get the board shipped to those distribution points, and then those people will be responsible for shipping out from there, so that we can try to save on the shipping and the repacking costs because Matt can't really do all the packing and shipping by himself and still maintain sanity and then have a relationship with the fab house. So uh, we're working on getting batches sent to those 3 points so that it would be easier to get them sent out. For Canada, me and Les is probably going to handle the local pickups and mailing from here for Canada. I don't anticipate many. We're going to get many around here, so I'll probably handle that myself. Um, any excess from the $90 basically rolls into the next batch, and then we're also using the funds to do the research for the 300 by 300 bed. We are not going to basically just expand the size of the bed to 300 by 300. Um, there's some work done on the back. We'll announce it when we're ready to basically have a little bit more intelligence in the PCB bed itself, and we're trying pretty hard to make it so that we could keep the same functionality as the normal size bed, normal size MP42, and trying to just expand the let's say the sensor points and but keep but improve on the heating performance. Um, there is probably a chance that we move up to 24 volt so that it might require running a separate supply, but that's kind of up in the air until we get these MK42 cones out to the people so that it would fund the research because making boards, making at least one-off boards for testing is very expensive, and especially when we have to kind of throw away a lot of the first um, few iterations of it. So we want to kind of have it pay for itself before we start to sink too much money into it. Yeah, I mean, I haven't. I guess Rob and me should be doing a stream sometime soon so that we could have um, John and Rob kind of drink the drink wine on the air. Oh, hi Aaron. So the other thing, I guess I don't know if I could find Aaron's um, QCE on here, but I guess the QCE was a pretty good upgrade, change mod to the Mk2. Um, Aaron, if you send me the link to your Etsy store, I will show it on the stream when I get it, and then I could kind of go through it and then introduce it to people so that they get in touch with you. They want to get the QCE because I know you're handling that. Um, let's see. While I wait for him to send me that, I guess we'll move on to the next thing, which is great, great. So, Pat, is that the thermocouple one? Oh no, no. So that's that's something that Aaron was working on before the thermocouple the thermocouple PT100. Yeah, PT100 interface. He did that way before. Um, okay, so guys can follow Aaron's link there um, for the presentation. So Les has put a lot of work into it. He put a lot of work in terms of getting the R&D done and the first quantity made on the board themselves. And Aaron did a lot of work on Tinkercad to get the with the models done so that they work together. Um, I seen it in person. The few I actually grab one from Les next time. I seen him in person because we meet up for breakfast and stuff like that, and it's amazing the piece of technology he's putting out. The um, the fact that you could go and um, quick change like swap out the whole extrude assembly will really help. And I think um, once the multi material kit comes out, there'll be a lot of demand for the QCE because I don't see people keeping the multi material on all the time. They probably want to swap back to a single extrusion. So the QCE should come in handy. And like I said, any of the inquiries should be directed to Aaron. He's on the Mattermost chat with us. For those of us who didn't follow our move, we basically stopped using Slack because we outgrew Slack a long time ago, and it was a lot of maintenance. So what we did was we moved to Mattermost, which is a self-hosted solution. So when we mention chat, sometimes I might say Slack just because out of habit, but we moved to Mattermost, so you guys could all the channels and all the users and everything got moved over. So the move was pretty seamless. So I think if you haven't moved yet, you should seriously consider moving over because that's um, the where all the actions happening right now. Um, I guess that talks about we going through the heat bed. We talked about the QCE. Um, maybe I'll just grab see if I can get type that in here. I thought maybe I went to there we go, there we go. Yeah, I know I went there before, so um, I will post this later. But basically, Aaron has a Etsy store that kind of like how I have Etsy and Tindy basically lists out all the mods and all the stuff that we have for sale for the MK42. Any of the stuff that we found handy. He has available, and this is the quick change, the QCE, the quick change extruder system. So like Aaron has his own channel on Matamos. So just go there now here, and basically, um, if you need to reach him, that's probably the best place to reach him. And then he's always ready to answer any questions you have. And yeah, let's just kind of move on. Yeah, I think Aaron, I think if you were if you want me to work with you on Tindy, we can also cross list on Tindy as well because Tindy is more of a maker. Um, it's a more of a maker market space. So it's actually better, a little bit better than Etsy. They allow you to list for free. They don't take a very small cut of the sales. So um, they're quite a bit of stuff. So if you actually get it listed, it's actually pretty good on here. Most of the stuff you probably could get listed on here and get more exposure. So congratulations, Aaron. Um, Jonas, the is for high temps as well as more resolution. I believe is more accurate using a thermocouple than using the thermistor. So is uh, it's a worthwhile upgrade. It's just the a little tougher to set up because not a lot of people using it. So Aaron is kind of the expert, so you should talk to him if you want to kind of have the rundown on that. And like I said, I'll explain why we haven't seen Aaron around in a while. Full time job, it takes a lot of time. Like I can tell. Um, so let's kind of move on to the Haribo Cube stuff. So, um, you guys, um, you guys have been sort of following what I've been doing, and you know that um, there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that I do, but I kind of stuck with like three major brands, basically Masumi Nagus and 3M, right? So um, the IGIS, I'll be working with the IGIS rep on a few things. The first is I've been looking at um, the using some like because I understand that when we've been having a lot of binding issues with misaligned parts or trying to get things centered and stuff like that. So in the industry, there's always been these sort of what they call pillow blocks or floating bearings, flange bearings that uh, has a little bit of give in them that allows you to sort of get away with minuscule um, alignment issues. So this is one of the examples is like a flange bearing where the I'll expand this full screen so you can actually see it better. So there's this little ball inside of this pillow block here that allows it to slightly rotate inside of that to compensate for any misalignment. Like if you're off by half a mil or quarter of a mil, it still allows you to sort of not bind on the rod themselves. So let's say, for example, if we were using this in a bolted to a printed block, if the block is slightly off, it will still allow the free movement of the rod itself without binding too badly. And because, like I mentioned last time, is that the rod, the smooth rod on the new design is going to also act like the axle. So we have two, like any binding will be amplified in the axle and the smooth rod themselves. So we want to move away from that. So I'm going to be looking at getting some samples of these flange bearings. EFOM is basically metric. EFOI is imperial. So that if you see them listed as EFOI is imperial. So they're not too bad in terms of price. 529, and then we kind of go down from there. So if we decide to go with these for the Hero Cube, most likely I'm going to be handling purchasing at let's say 100 pieces, and then kind of just having them on the Tindy store so that it'd be easy to pick up. Um, the other thing I want to talk about was in terms the setup of the bomb. Basically, going forward, I'm going to try to cross list two different alternatives. I shouldn't say two different alternatives. A reference build and one alternative, I should say, that'll allow you to pick between the two for some parts. Let's say for the flange bearings, it's going to be tough for you to find a equivalent. So I guess either you get, like I said, I'll handle the sales, or you could get it direct. I guess sales to a lot of people, they don't have a lot of issues selling to you, so you have problems, you buy directly from me. But the I guess one's probably not going to be. There won't be much alternatives. I'll see if I could get away with that, but I probably won't spend too much time on it because if it works with the design, I'm just going to go with that. The the other thing on it, the other parts, like let's say the spindles or the steppers. So one of the one of the nice things about, I guess, I just found out, is that they make these really awesome Dryland e-spindle motors. What these motors are is basically modular. So what that means is that um, you buy the spindle motor, and you figure out which steps you want for the which length you want for the lead screw, and they screw into the stepper themselves, and then you buy the palm nut, which is what these two things are, the palm nuts for the mounting. So you basically make a combination of these three into your own stepper motor. So, for example, the nice thing about this, even though it might be a little bit of upfront cost, is that if you started off with a 300 height, you go and basically swap the lead screw and go 500 height if you wanted to, and it's just a matter of swapping out the core. And also the lead screw is pretty, other than the palm nut, is pretty accurate. There's not a lot of backlash. So what a lot of the Chinese and Taiwanese stepper motors, you see a lot of the guys use what they call anti-backlash nuts. It's mainly because the interface between the palm nut and the lead screw themselves is not very accurate. So there's still a lot of play on the palm nut themselves. So they make it as when they move quickly, there's a lot of backlash. So they use an anti-backlash nut. But with these palm nuts and these screws from, I guess I don't really have a lot of problem. Of course, there's also always the downside to using, I guess, is the price. If I remember correctly, last time I quoted a set of two of these with the lead screw for the Z, and two regular NEMA 17s for the XY, and then one for the extruder. Came out to close to 250, I believe, 210, 250, something in the range. So it is quite a bit more expensive than buying Taiwanese or buying Chinese motors. For example, like if we went to look at Bobodig, their version of a 350 or 400 with the lead screw, is $34. But you could tell that the quality wise, it's not going to be as great as the Igus one. It'll do the job, but is so what I'm saying, I guess, is that I'll list these as alternatives, because you could either buy the 350 or you go with the 500 with the palm nut. This is the not the lead screw you need. They have a different one. I think it's the TRA 44. I think you need. I have to check. But I could tell you that it'd be night and day difference between the quality of the two, but also there's a price difference. I mean, this is, let's say, $72 for two, plus let's say $60 for the other one, so about 100 and change less by going with Robodig robot dig versus IGUS, but for the reference build, it's going to be using IGUS mainly because that's going to be the reference, right? Like you kind of say um, this is what the what you're building against. If you want to go lower on the price and on the other stuff, you really want to list alternatives and kind of go price down from there. Fidget spinners, Rob or Judas, as I would call you for the night. Gali, the quick research shooter. Give me a second. Let me go grab something. Okay, so oh no, that one is the unfinished debot. I've been too lazy. I really should get that finished because the only like frame wise is all done. I had a guy. Oh, that's the other thing. If you guys need any ABS parts printed, and you want a whole set printed, I found a guy on eBay. That's pretty cheap. Like he printed the entire printer. I think it was like $100 shipped to my house with all the debot parts, and he prints pretty well actually. I was really happy with the quality. There's not a lot of warping and stuff like that on the part. So if you guys wanted ABS printed for like any of the printers, he's the guy to talk to. So I guess I found I can find it rod. So that's one of the pillowboard mounts, and it's kind of extreme because you kind of tell. I don't know if you could tell from here. Um, you kind of rotate, and it'll still move freely on the rod itself. Um, that's kind of extreme. I mean, if you had, I guess you can't really see it. If you had that much of an angle, and it still moves perpendicular to the rod, because that pillow ball, you see it moves in all sorts of directions. So um, this is one of the examples I used to use for the XNs. When it goes up and down, it even if slightly they are like if the print was slightly warped and the two and top and bottom ones are slightly off, they will still move freely and not bind. So these were pretty good. The other thing I use is these things, which is you could tell, but this basically what do we call these? They had bushings. They're called bushings. Yeah, but they flange bushings where you would have a hole, and then if you wanted a rod, this is for a 5 mil rod. So if you built the hole like 5.4 or 5.6, I think this one was, and you put it in, it basically gives you the I guess material, friction free material for the rod to go in and out of. If you're building any sort of movement in your parts, that those come in handy. So there's a lot of I guess stuff people use and don't like a lot of I guess stuff that people don't know about and they don't know how to use them. So um, yeah, but like you don't want to bug somebody to do like 50 parts of a printer, right? When like I know he would do it if I ask him, but I just don't want to bug him about it. And $100 shipped from Finland, I think it was. It's actually not bad of a price, so I'm okay with paying for that. And like that's filament everything included and primes. See if I can find the part. Yeah, I mean, like you could tell, like the parts themselves, um, they're pretty good, right? Like the finish on it is incredible. Finish on these. I hope I can get them. Anyway, um, the what else am I gonna talk about? I think it's been a good source for 608 bearings. Bob, it depends, right? I mean, are you looking at using 608 bearings for the spinners you're giving away, or are you selling, or what? Like, is it for? Do you care about the how fast they spin, or do you just want to know a good source for 608 bearings in general? Because I remember I was on AliExpress and well, that's the thing, right? I guess is how much of a friend you are, right? Because if I was giving it to really close friends, I mean, I'm using Acer Racing ceramic bearings, but those are like 12 or 13 bucks each. So, uh, um, I think there's one of these. This is one of the kits they had. This is not bad, but the um, phenometer. Yeah, these are the ones, and I think it worked out to. Remember last time? I think it worked out to like 12 bucks or something like that. But the I'll find the one that I was using before. Um, I guess you guys can see what I've been buying. Uh, I bought these bearings. I gotta find out if I could find the link again. But they were pretty good for 608 bearings. So I'll see if I can find them again. Lately, AliExpress been acting up. Like it's been skipping a lot of the orders. I'm missing a whole chunk of my orders. I can't even go back in history to find the orders that I placed. But the I found a place that's just selling them pretty good. If I find it again. Oh yeah, don't buy bones on AliExpress. You're just asking for it. These are not real bones. At $11 a bag, a box. They are not real bones. Skate bearings. So don't buy those. Um, I'll find them again next time. I'll keep that in mind, Rob. No, so if honestly, if you wanted to, if they are just good friends of yours and not like, um, you know, not like, of course, I'm not gonna find it now. I just bought some today because I needed to get them for. I don't know if they sell these. They should sell the same ones in. They're not bones. Um, they just mini logo skateboard bearings. I think they sell them in Amazon as well. These are the ones I use for the ones I give away to people, and they've been pretty happy with them. So um, there you go, 1025, and it's prime shipping. So um, yeah, if you were true this level friends, you would be using Acer bearings or like using bones. But for like acquaintances and coworkers and stuff like that, this is what I use: mini logo skateboard bearings. Um, in Canada, I don't know why the guy listed them as Bones. They're not from Bones. They're from Skate Rated. They're pretty good. They do use Bones speed cream, so that could be why they're putting Bones on the description. But that speed cream, that's the other thing you should buy. Is if you I've been arguing with a lot of guys on chat. Um, the best way to make them spin fast is to take a pick, take the shields off of them. I know it's kind of intuitive, but take the shields off of them, and then use brake fluid, clean all the grease out of the balls themselves, and buy a bottle of speed cream, bone speed cream right here. So you don't need a lot. You don't need to drench them. You just need 2 drops in the balls themselves. Give it a good spin. That's it. Don't not you put more of them in there. It's not going to make them go any faster. One of these bottles will last you a long time. And there's a lot of drops in that, and that's all you need. Um, your covers. So your covers should cover up the bearing, so you don't need those shields. So unless the guy is gonna play with the spinner in the sand or something like that, you're not gonna have problems. So just get rid of the shields. And if you do a lot of them, buy this. Apparently, this will save you hours of cleaning because basically you take all the shields off, you mount it on this rod, and then the bottle itself will hold the brake fluid. You don't need to use new brake fluid every time. Um, I use dirty brake fluid; it works just fine. So what I'm saying is, the initial cleaning, you stick them all onto a rod on one of these rods. You stick it in a bottle. You give it a good shake a few times. Let it sit. Give it a good shake, and then basically it'll dissolve most of the grease, right? Then you take it out. Then you do the final cleaning. With brake cleaner, and then you wipe them dry. The bottle itself, or the brake fluid inside, you could use it into like it's full of grit, and then you get rid of it. But like for the most majority of the time, you just keep adding new brake fluid in the bottle, and the bottle's cheap enough that you know what, like you can have a few, like you have one bottle that's new and one bottle that's like old fluid, and you just transfer the whole stick over, and then you just shake it again. You clean the lot this way, and all we do is you. After you clean them, you put the drops in them and you put them back in the box, and then you're ready to go. And whenever you need to do to put another spinner together, you just take one and put it in. That's what I do. So it works. The bottle itself is like I know a lot of people would say they make their own bottle. You could do that too, but for $8.75, you know what? I'm just gonna go and do that. Give me a second. Hey, hey, I can't talk about it. Can I talk about it? Okay, that was a really good friend of mine. So I guess I haven't really talked about what else I do in my spare time. So there's two things I used to do when I had a lot of spare time before this whole 3D printing thing took over. One was I fly large kites and stun kites, and that was a friend that I knew from work that that used to fly stun kites and large kites. So the I guess I can show you guys what stun kite looks like if you guys are not into stun kiting. That's a pretty good picture of a stun kite. So usually, when people mention stun kite, they'll talk about this style, sort of like a delta kite, where there's two strings, and basically by yanking on the string, you make it turn in different directions, and we could do flips and rotations and stuff like that. There's guys who do multiple level stun kites like this. There's box kites that they use for stun kiting as well. If you really want to watch a good show on stun kiting, I think just check before I tell you guys. Um, I think they still do it over the Chicago Fire kite team. So they do this on the in the Chicago in the lake along the lake. The Chicago Fire stunt kite team. They do a show every year. Yeah, sure. Jonas, just send the question over, and then if I could cover it, I'll cover it. Um, what was I saying? Oh, the Chicago Fire stunt kite team. They put on a free show every year. So if you want to kind of go to Chicago and watch them, I think they do that a few times in the summer. So you can check that out. Um, he usually calls. He's a very good friend of mine. He usually calls and kind of wants to chat about different things. We're also into photography, so he talks a lot about his photography stuff. So um, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so um, reds, bones, bearings. You don't need to get super reds because um, you're not going to notice it. Like you're not going to be spinning this fast enough for you to notice the difference between this and some of the regular red stuff. For this is like 8 bearings for $62. So I pay $8 a bearing. I wouldn't bother with those. So seriously, just speed cream. Just buy speed cream, clean up the bearings really good, and you're ready to go. Um, I would probably go with yellow jackets. To be honest, like if you would really wanted to get something nicer, you could go with yellow jackets. They're pretty good as well. Um, See if you could find a local skate shop, because they are closing. A lot of them are closing. If you could support them and buy the bearings locally, you know what? Just go ahead and buy them locally because you're gonna. It just makes sense. Though this is an awesome deal, guys. Like get a pack of reds, the bottle, and the speed cream for $23. Dude, you can't go wrong with that. Um, Anyway, let me go back on topic. So, Jonas, what was your question about the troubleshooting question on your stream? You wanted me to answer the question. You guys gotta see this in person because this QCE it just looks awesome in person. Uh, Me and Phil and another Joseph saw it, so um, it looks awesome in person. I'm really impressed on that. Hey, this is what I sell. See, absolutely. That is a good question. I had the same problem myself. Actually, is the so basically, right? Like I think you alluded to the reason when you were kind of explaining it. I think trying to explain to him before. Basically, what's happening is the do I have one here? I could show. I don't. Um, but basically, the pinder or any of the proximity sensors, right? What they are is basically um, they they look at the yeah, basically what Aaron's saying. They look at the voltage and the resistance on the wire. I don't really know exactly what it was. Les probably knows a little bit better, but each each circuit for that pinder through the Rambo is going to give a different value. So generally, when you would switch the pinder or when you switch the Rambo, what you're doing is you are making a new path for the signal to travel through, and then when it reaches that resistance slash voltage, it reads it differently. So when you swap Rambos, when you swap hinders, you kind of have to recalibrate. So yeah, same thing on like a thermistor. Thermistor is a little bit better because the thermistor has a better like meaning narrower tolerance range, so you're not gonna notice it. But even those are pretty bad because if you look at it, at idle, 0A, like Haribo 0A reads 28 degrees. 0B reads 35, so it's 7 degrees off, and it should be the same for Mister. Same, at least in the tolerance wise, and same kind of Rambo, right? But it reached 7 degrees difference. And then when I had the other board, it read 28. So it really depends on the resistance path and stuff like that. So yeah, like I would say that swap like I that's how I got that ding on that board the first time I swapped the Rambo because it got that melted connector. I didn't know that I had to recalibrate. So when I switched to Rambo and then I just went ahead and did the XYZ, it just slammed right into the board and dinged it. So happens to all of us. So yeah, that's the that's I think your conclusion was correct. Is that the each pinder is different. So if you change the pinder or you change the Rambo, just um, lower it back down and just redo your calibration so you don't mess up your PI. What else can we talk about? I guess we've been on for what 53 minutes. You have any other questions or anything you guys want me to cover while I'm on stream? And I know I don't want to keep the Euro guys too long because they're gonna complain. Um, the I guess I talked about this on. I mentioned it. I didn't talk about. It. I mentioned this on the chat. Is uh, the the lose the not lose, but the Filament.ca has a uh, um, sale on eSun, free shipping on eSun Filament. I know that a lot of us buy enough to get free shipping on the order, which is I think 125 for Canadian and like 150, 175 something like that for US to get free shipping. But if you guys were not anywhere near a what was it? You guys a company center, whatever you get these on from, and you want to kind of just try one or two rolls. That's a pretty good way to try them is to buy them off of Filament.ca since it's free shipping anyway. If you get one or two rolls to try the PLA Plus and see if it works out for you. I probably will try one just to see because there's a lot of talk about them. Um, I'll see what the I mean, some of the guys are basically saying that they like it a lot. Some of the guys are saying, well, it's not bad for the money, it's best bang for the buck kind of thing. And I think it's because they get it locally at the computer store, so they like it. Um, so I don't know. That's why I want to kind of before I put my judgment down and just go by review and parroting it. I want to kind of make my own judgments. I'll probably pick up a roll or two and just try it out, see how well it prints. Um, yeah, no, it's much cheaper in the States. I don't like. I don't know what. Do you guys? What was the name of that store you guys get it from in the States? Rob, you know? I got Hatchbox here, so one thing I really want to try out is from Tura or from Futura. Um, well, I guess this stuff is from the Netherlands apparently, and is easy fill PLA bronze. So I want to try the bronze. I'll see, but I'm kind of afraid that it's gonna blow out the nozzle. So um, what's that name of that? What's the name of that computer store you guys have down there that sells eSun? Because nobody knows. Nobody's telling me. Michael Santa, yes. I should know that. No, Michael Center, because there's a few in Boston that I used to go to. So, hey Pat, you shouldn't feel too bad. 29 plus 30 US dollars to Canadian is $41. Dude, you saved $2 by buying locally. So it's actually cheaper in Canada. There's so much good stuff you could do with this Google thing. I just found out that you could do 8 p.m. EDT in Germany, I think, and it will tell you what time it is in Germany. I did not know that. So that's how I found out what time it was when when you guys were complaining I wasn't in your time zone. Um, so I was talking to Les about the glow in the dark and other fill um, filaments, and he said he was using the E3D hardened steel nozzles, and that's probably what I would go with. Is when I built the third one, the minion version of the Haribo, I will put a hardened steel nozzle on the. Well, yeah, micro Swiss works too, but for myself, it's like I kind of want to stick with E3D, but you could go with micro Swiss as well. Um, I found that Michaelis was actually cheaper in Canada again versus buying from the US. So there's a few places around here you could buy it. So, but E3D there's a local distributor now for E3D in Canada. So I'll probably end up buying one and then swapping one of the printers to do the abrasive material. You sort of have to do a little bit more work on it too, like you have to do the PID tuning, and I think you have to print it a little harder because it's the stainless steel nozzle um, absorbs a little more heat. So the I think it's worth it going with the stainless steel, or you could go tungsten, like Aaron's going. So um, I I can tell you that I did 2 rolls of glow in the dark on the old printer, and it totally blew out the nozzle. So it does make a difference. So if you're gonna do any of the abrasive stuff, yeah, just go and make sure that you get the right nozzle for it. When, any other questions you guys want to cover, or um, I think I'll briefly talk about. Let's see if I have if I have a link for it. So there was a question a while back, not a while back, about 2 days ago. I guess Jason came up with a question 2 days ago. He asked me on Facebook, then he came on MM to ask me, um, is there a way to use a um, nice bounce switch for the power supply? So Um, I don't know, like they will actually show it. I'm not gonna spell it correctly, but there we go. So he wanted to use something like this where these are what we would consider to be like momentary bounce switches. Um, they are not really meant for high voltage, so um, he wanted something like this for his next build. Um, I know a lot of people do because it just makes it makes your printer looks a lot nicer, and instead of like toggle, you touch and then it basically turns on the printer. Um, it will work on the low voltage line, but it won't work on the high voltage lines like the mains wiring. So I was thinking about how I did it before because I used to build audio amplifiers and they go pretty high voltage. I mean we build like class A stuff. So um, what we used to do was we had a separate power source like a 5 volt or 12 volt little transformer that gets constant power. So either like what we do is we split off the mains to this external power supply, and then that powers a relay. And basically, this bounce switch will turn on the relay, which then the relay will allow the mains voltage to go into the main power supply. So that's the only way you sort of could trick, um, get this to work in a safe way to do it. If you don't want a separate power supply split off on the mains because it's sort of still powering up the whole enclosure. The other thing you do is you use a 9 volt battery that will power the relay, and then but then that means you have to kind of change the 9 volt battery. One of the solutions we had, which was kind of a nice hack, was we put a LiPo battery that powered the relay, and when the main power comes on, it powered the charging circuit that charged the LiPo battery that will allow it to turn itself on and off. So that works really well, but the LiPo battery over time will lose charge if you don't turn on the whatever you're powering the appliance on often enough. So it just seems a very roundabout way of getting the switch to work, which I sort of kind of told him is not really worth the effort. But if you really wanted to do it, I think this guy sells something similar. Yeah, power switch driver circuit. I think this is the one. So yeah, so this is the one I was talking to you about, where um, you will basically use one of these bounce switches in um, to turn on the relay for um, low power component. So in this case, you could use it to turn on the relay to allow the power for the mains, and then you hook up the relay and then the switch here, and then basically that allows you to have a momentary switch that will toggle on see here, the 12 volt relay. So it allows you to power the 12 volt relay via the AC mains power, and that allows you to go and do it safely. The the boards he sells the boards themselves are fairly cheap. And because circuits readily available, you can actually make this yourself. But I think it was like $4 a board, and then you pick up these parts depending on what you need, and you can actually make that whole circuit work yourself. So this guy's pretty good. So if you guys are interested, I'll also link this later on the on in the chat. So hopefully now that it's done, you guys can see these a little bit better. So there you go. So yeah, so they work pretty well. So generally, what I do is, like I said, I leave these and let them cool down to room temperature, and then I raise it back up to 55 and then pop them off, and then I'll print another set. Um, they work out pretty good. I mean, I still have plenty of filament, so the give it a good slight sanding, get some of the stringing off. I still got a little bit of stringing on the sides where it goes really quickly, but overall it's not too bad. I mean, it feels pretty good. So I kind of switched away from using PLA for spinners because I know kids will leave them in the car and then it's gonna be a mess. So I just now go to PETG instead of PLA. Yeah, I guess I was watching some of us were watching as well the Bean stream on the A8, and I was kind of joking around saying that maybe I should go and pick up an A8 and do a stream online uh, to see, and then kind of see how well it compares to the Mk2. Apparently, it's a lot sturdier than Mk2, so maybe it's a worthwhile upgrade for our Mk2 guys or Haribo guys. The see, that's about it. I'm not gonna linger anymore. It's been an hour, and I know that some of the guys in Europe wants to go to sleep, so I'm not gonna linger anymore. I think an hour is good for them to review later if they wanted to sort of go back and figure out what we covered. And I think we did pretty good. I mean, like I said, we went through 608 bearings and how to clean them out, and my suggestion of using brake cleaner and then the shaking bottle to get rid of all the grease, and then speed cream. Speed cream is the secret sauce. It's 2 or 3 drops in the grooves. Give it a good spin so that it lubricates all the little balls in the races, and they're good to go. Um, the Mk42 clones, like I said, all the group buy ones by should be shipped out or by the end of the week or already shipped. So let me know if you have any issues with those getting shipped. I'll talk to Matt. Maybe miss one or two, but I'm pretty sure all of them went out. We have a few left. The next batch is going to be only sold on Tindy. Like I said, $90, including shipping anywhere. Board only, and it will have a separate item listed for the wiring kit, $15-20, somewhere in that range. Um, they do sell color bearing shields. So um, what generally happens is, let's say Yellow Jacket would have kind of yellow anodizing on the bearing themselves. So that's how you get different colors. And most of the primary colors, like um, go look now. Most of your primary colors like red, yellow, and blue are covered on most of the 608 bearing brands. Um, but if you want really off the beaten path colors, like red is a very popular color. Black, of course, you have seen those. So Yellow Jackets, they would have, well, again, because the Yellow Jacket they have yellow, and then um, blue is blue is another color. See, these are blue, red. I seen most of the reds with most of them are using reds, and these generic ones also are red. So those are easy. Like Yellow Jacket also comes in green. So I seen them in blue as well. So that's really the only way you're gonna get different color shields. So that's why I suggest that, like, you see these are VXP, they're white. So what I suggest, like I said, is, oh shit, I dropped that. Like I said, is bearing caps anyway. So you're not gonna see the color anyway. So really, like, is it's not an issue. I mean, I wouldn't bother with trying to match the shields. Like, I don't use shields on the ones that I play with, and they run a lot quicker. So generally, I don't think you need shields, seriously. So just go with shieldless. Um, the only time I would leave it not shielded is if I paid some god awful amount of money for, like, let's say some ceramic ones that I want to show off the ceramic balls. Otherwise, yeah, just go with like um, just go with covers. Seriously, that's what I would say. Um, the So you can buy these ones, which gives you different. You pick the different colors, but I tell you, these are shit. Like they don't spin anywhere near that quick. Okay, like I tried these before, and they are like the worst you could ever. Like these are not. Um, you see, like the way that uh, the shield is like is a rubbery plastic thing. Basically, what it is a rubber plastic wrapped around a thin metal sheet, and they grip like hell on the balls, and it won't spin. I can tell you that much. So, don't bother with these. You get what you pay for, basically. Um, Yellow jackets. I'm telling you, like if you don't want to use mini logo, go with yellow jackets. See, like they are really good. The shield, the shield's acceptable. They don't bind as bad as some of the cheaper ones, but um, what happened is that because these are for skateboards, so generally what happened is that on skateboards they will have one side that has a rubber shield and the other side is metal shield. The metal shield side usually isn't that bad. Um, so that's the metal shield and that's a rubber shield. So generally on the metal shield side is like I said, it's not too bad. It's a rubber shield side where the color shield is. That's the side that grips. So generally I just pop that side off. But then if you're gonna pop one side off, I'm also gonna pop both of them off anyway. Um, yeah, they are skate bearings. So the some of the other guys are using smaller bearings, but then they're more expensive as the smaller you go. So 608 is pretty good. Um, like you can buy them like shieldless, so don't bother having to pop the shields off. So, but I would suggest not to get too many anyway, because like I said, like as I saw earlier, it was like China is like manufactured them like mad out of China anyway. Like I think if I was to like I think this morning I saw it for like $4 or some stupid thing like that. Like seriously, 279. Like why I don't even bother. Like seriously, like these are so cheap. Like and they sell them at the convenience store and stuff like that. Um, I got a few like, these are all metal for $3. Jeez. I got a few emails from these guys from AliExpress, um, and they are basically just dumping these. I mean, these guys on Amazon are selling them for this much, but if you go on to like AliExpress, they're dirt cheap, and you get like 9,000 different patterns. So like they all injection molded. There's no way you're gonna be able to compete on these prices anyway. So at $5 for free shipping, you're gonna get a few guys local now before they kind of catch on, but yeah, I wouldn't stock up on 608 bearings thinking you're gonna be selling hundreds of spinners anytime soon. Yeah, go shieldless with the spinners because I guess if you okay, I should disclaim that. Go shieldless if you're gonna print your own covers anyway, so they don't get all the dirt in them. But if you're not gonna put covers on them, yeah, don't go shieldless. I think that's it. On Saturday. I'll see what we're gonna do about the meetup on Saturday. But I'll try to hit the noon time, a little afternoon, maybe 12:15, and do the stream from there. I'm gonna try. I've been saying that for like the last week and a half now. I'm gonna try to get some of the initial drawings done for the Hero World Cube, so that you guys can understand a little bit better how the arrangement is gonna be for the corner blocks and how the axle and the pulley is gonna work. And then I'm gonna contact Masumi, see if they can send me some of them cut and drilled because um, there's gonna be some drilling involved, I think, to get the what I wanted to do. Um, I'll see if I can get around that, but I'll see if they will be able to do some of the customization I want to do. Hopefully, at least in theory, I'll draw it out on Fusion 360 and show you guys on stream, and get some opinions, and then show you guys how it would work. It's very similar to how Ultimaker works with the movement, but one thing that I always over engineer these things is basically go with thicker rods and then go with a longer span, because I want to be able to use a full 300 by 300 on the XY, and also a 350 to 400 on the Z. So and plus using it as enclosure. So there's going to be a lot of interesting things with it, and using 3030 will ensure that we have enough agility in the frame to handle that. Yeah, so until then, I guess 2 more days. I'll see what I can do tomorrow after work to kind of get some of the drawings going. Hopefully, Judas is getting better, and he can help me with the side project I was working on, because I needed some artistic talent there. So hopefully, he can help me out with that. That offload that job from me, and then I could go ahead and work on the Revo Cube. So, hey Mitch, the it's I guess you caught us at the end of the stream, so you probably could review what we've been talking about over the last hour or so. After I stop the stream, it's gonna go to processing, and then you should be able to review it. Yeah, I'm feeling the cold coming on, so I should probably get bed soon anyway. So I'll catch you guys later.